The United Nations General Assembly voted last night to admit Communist China and expel Nationalist China. The moment was a turning point in history, foreshadowing vast changes in international relations. The decision to exclude the Nationalists constituted the worst U.S. defeat in United Nations history.
It was a tense and emotion-filled session at the United Nations as the General Assembly voted. The American defeat became a foregone conclusion early in the evening when the Assembly voted down 59 to 55 with 15 abstentions, a United States resolution to make the matter of expulsion of the Chiang Kai-shek government an important question. It thus would have required a two-thirds majority before the Nationalists could be expelled. The result of the vote on the important question was greeted with loud cheers and even some dancing.
No. In Cameroon? No.
Cheers in some quarters in the United States. In Washington, for example, Senator James Buckley of New York said when the UN took final action to expel the Nationalists, he would propose legislation for a major reduction in United States financial support for the United Nations. The celebration continued as the President prepared to announce the vote.
The result of the voting is as follows. In favor, 54, opposed, 59, abstention, 15. The draft resolution is rejected.
The Chinese nationalists did not wait for the final vote. After the defeat of the United States important question resolution, the Chinese delegation realized its hopes were doomed, and Nationalist Foreign Minister Cho Chu-kai addressed the Assembly briefly, then led his delegation from the United Nations building.
In view of the frenzy and the irrational manners that has been exhibited in this hall, the delegation of the Republic of China has now decided not to take part to any further proceedings of this General Assembly. I'd like to take this opportunity to express only the profound gratitude of my government to those friendly governments which have lent us their extended support throughout the years. My government will further strengthen these relations in the years to come. We shall continue to struggle with the like-minded governments for the realization of the ideals upon which the United Nations was founded, but which the General Assembly has now betrayed. We are confident that the cause for which we have been fighting for more than a quarter of a century will in the end prevail. I shall issue another public statement later in the evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
But the final vote on the Albanian resolution to seat Communist China in the UN and to expel Nationalist China was 76 in favor, 35 opposed, with 17 abstentions. Supporters of the Peking government went wild. They had waited a long time for this moment.
Yes, Cameroon.
Yes.
Yes, Canada.
Wait.
Yes.
The result of the voting is as follows. In favor 76. Wait a moment. The result of the voting is as follows. In favor 76. Opposed 35. Abstention 17. The draft resolution adopted. The resolution is adopted. The government of People's Republic of China will be notified accordingly.
After the United States lost its long fight to keep nationalist China in the UN, the United States Ambassador George Bush spoke bitterly about the General Assembly decision in an interview only minutes after the vote.
The United Nations today crossed a very dangerous bridge, and that's the question of expulsion. And time will tell. My country took a good deal of abuse in there by some intemperate people, and this is fine. There was lots of very noble opposition to our position. But in calm reflection, I think we're going to recognize that there's been a very serious mistake. I know it's very fashionable in there to lord it over the United States. But my point isn't the fact that we lost. My point is that the United Nations lost by permitting the expulsion of a decent member nation. And that's what this battle was about. Obviously, I didn't do my job well enough in convincing other people about it, but this is the way it is, and this is the way we see it, and we weren't making propaganda. We feel it deeply. And now the question is, on to the next event. We'll see what happens.
Were you surprised by the vote?
Yes, we were surprised.
You expected to win?
We expected to win, and we thought it would be very, very close, and there were some commitments made to us that weren't kept. And this is, I guess I suppose we should learn to expect that kind of thing, but I don't like it a darn bit.
After the balloting, UN Secretary General Font cabled Peking that it had been voted into the United Nations.